Morning, everyone. Good morning. Morning. Good morning. My name is Ace, and we're going to be continuing some art here today. I'm working on 3D characters to use as reference for a webcomic that I'm developing. I'm on my third one. I need 6 to start doing pages, and we are doing textures. Unfortunately for me, I made a mistake during baking, so I have to do the clothes over. And as of right now, I think that is all that's left. So we're going to be continuing that today. I'm going to take a look at my texture though. I was texturing the skin of the character, and just want to just refresh my memory here. I was doing this off stream. That's why we're left off right here. Let's see. Let me go to object mode. Hope you're having a great morning. Nice Tuesday morning, second day of the work week for many people, and it's going to be a bit warm today, but otherwise, I don't really have anything new to report. Um, yeah, I mean, things pretty well right now. Let's see. Body LP. Okay, here we go. And then we're going to go on ahead and well, hold on, let me put the underwear back on. Take the LV off. There we go. See? I don't know why the camera is always in a weird spot. All right. And then oops. Yeah, we gotta do that. And then we can go to texture paint. Now, that looks pretty basic, but fear not, because the high poly details are on the character. Oh right, yeah. I wanted to see. I don't. I think the material is different. What is the material? I don't want to change anything. And besides, it's not going to look like that per se. Yeah, it looks a little bit more when he's rendered. It looks a little bit more human. Still pretty shiny though. I don't know. I'm gonna take a look at that. That's gonna be something that I address further down the road. Probably not today either. Probably have like maybe another week or two of this, since hair shouldn't really take that long. It's just the eyebrows and the rigging, and that's it. That's once I have that, this character is pretty much done. And I gotta rig the other characters too. Like I said, I've been if you've been following the progress of this project in any capacity, I've mentioned many times that I'm trying to figure out how to rig the face, just the face properly. I can do the rest of the body, so that way I can have my character show emotion, because that is something that I want to. I want them to be very expressive in the webcomic. Okay, I'm going to be drawing it, and I'm using this as reference. It won't be in 3D. I'm not interested in making a webcomic in 3D. So I'm looking at this, and let's see what we got here. Okay, we are rendering it in real time right now. I think this, yeah, his hand should be lighter than that. What in the world is it? This is like we died in a video game. All right. What is this? That's the normal. We need to stay on the color textures. There we go. Just so we can see what we're doing. And if you zoom in, you can see all the places that I've added the color zones. That was the last thing I was doing. I'm going to try to what I'm looking at right now. I'm like kind of self-critiquing and trying to figure out what I could do better. I think that all the colors that I've used today, and it's both basically a um a shade of purple, yellow, and red, right? Very subdued. I'm going to use more subtle shades of that color. Okay, even more subtle than this. Like this yellow here, I think this is perfect, but um, I want to start out that way because I actually had to work it a lot to get it back to that, get it to that point where it's not as prominent. But I want to do that for all the colors going forward. Okay, just very subtle, because you're not going to be super red unless you're like sun tanned or not that this is. I'm just saying, there were some times where I used it too strong, and I would just want to try to get the right feel for it, which we're going to do. But I want to try to do it like, quicker than I did, so that way we don't have to keep working at it. There is some mistakes here. I'm assuming that is from either remeshing or maybe I messed up the red topology, but I'm going to keep going. This isn't exactly something that is going to be seen beyond this stream. I'm going to be referencing it, and whatever mistakes remain from at least the first three, because I'm making a fourth sculpt off stream that I actually haven't been working on because I got to catch up with this one. Okay, I got to fix the mistakes that I did on this one. Um, there is a fourth one where I actually got to address everything that I have, at least before texturing. I can fix all the things that I needed to fix on this one. I've already fixed. Okay, so it's got way better red topology. The proportions are a little bit better. It's that particular mesh will be used for animation practice. Okay, for the next step of my master plan of of excellence. I guess I don't know. I'm just getting better as an artist. Okay, and I kind of want to do a project that requires animation in 3D in some way. So, um, yeah, that's what we're doing. This is what we got so far. Got to do the eyes too. That's another thing. That shouldn't be too long though. Yes, the it's time for the colors now. All right, so we got to go back to yellow. Unfortunately, I don't know why it only seems to save the red and nothing else. That is so weird. We don't even have the base color, but the base color will be easy since I did not do the entire body, color zones of the entire body. This particular character won't be in this state of undress, so there's no point in me doing it. But wait, no, I did. I think I remember working on. I added a little bit. I don't know. It's very subtle, but generally, in the future, I want to learn how to do, and I have some material to go off of to try to do the color zones in the whole body. I'm pretty sure that I added red at the very least to the back muscles and things like that. I think I remember doing that. It might have been at the very end of the stream. Anyway, I started late, so I'm gonna get started here. It's not gonna be a long stream. I'm just trying to I wasn't sure because I had to catch up on some sleep. All right, and I wasn't sure if I was wanted to stream, but I already said I was going to, so I'm gonna try to stick to what I at least try to stick to what I'm trying to, my plan here. All right, let's stick to the freaking program. Okay, what I'm looking for is the beige color that we were trying to use. Yes, it was about right there. The beige color that I was using for yellow. Now you don't want to use straight yellow because your color zones are gonna make them look like they were playing paintball or like a clown. You don't want that. You want to try to use colors that kind of are more closer to what you would find in the skin tone. They blend into the skin tone as well. All right, but you can find all kinds of colors in the skin. Depending on the environment and the lighting. Uh-oh. Although that wouldn't be too, I mean, that's a little too much, but that's not too far off with what we want. That's a little closer, I think. We can probably go a couple of shades lighter just for the palm, okay? I think that might work. I mean, my palm is like that, but I have to add red too. And we have red ready, so it's okay. You can probably do yellow and red for the palms. And I'm going to do the bottom of the feet too. And then I think I'm going to leave it right there afterwards. Oh, yeah. Give me 1 second. See if we can do this without actually looking at anything in my notes. I have notes. I take notes. There's a lot of stuff to keep track of, okay? Okay, let's see. That was clamp, or was it color ramp? Yeah, it was color ramp, right? I don't remember the numbers. No, I think it was one somewhere around there, and this was 8. Sometimes I have brain farts, okay, but I'm almost certain that was it. My memory is actually very good when I'm functional, when I'm not tired or distracted. See that we did not fumble about at all. And this is the same. Now, after I've done it, I'm going to check my notes right now and see what was right. I have to know. I have to know, okay? Let's see. All right. Nabla 0.03. Got it. Depth 2. We didn't change that. Um Size? Uh-oh. Yeah, we messed up. That's the wrong size. It's actually 0.03, just like the Nabla. All right, well, we got one off. We were slightly off there. Okay, I just needed to know. And the dark is actually 170. But the light was right. The light was correct. Okay, that was 819. I actually remember that. Let's see. We'll get it to the point where we can commit this entire workflow to memory, and I'll go a lot faster. Besides, of course, streaming and trying to hold a conversation, or just, just general, just general talking, and probably slow me down a little bit, but it's okay. Uh, but for the most part, it'll be much faster than what I'm doing now. And I think that's it. Okay, yeah, we want that. We don't want now. The reason why I did that is because you don't want a solid line, for your colors. Okay, that was the one thing that I messed up on. Now I blended it by hand yesterday, so I'm just trying to see if I could control Z the colors now. It's okay. We kind of want to like an airbrush quality, so that way we can blend these colors easier. That was the only thing that I did that I messed up on. What did oh, we went. Okay, I think I got rid of the color. I just can't tell. Oh, this might have been what I did yesterday. Texture paint. Let's go back to texture paint and let's blur what I did yesterday first, and then I'm going to continue. I don't even know if that might be the actual the seam. I have to address that at some point. The seams are showing through, and this shininess is weird. We're gonna fix that too. As soon as I figure out what I need to do. I actually don't have that committed to my notes, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of a refresher at some point between now and Friday. Or sorry, not now and Monday, next Monday, and I should have it by then, ready to go. All right, so I'm just gonna add this, and I think that might be a little too strong. Now that I'm looking at it, let's just reduce that by half a little bit. Now, where does the the palm skin end on the side of the thumb? It's pretty much right where the seam is, to be honest. So that's a good marker. I have to remember next time, when I do that for the skin, to add the seams exactly where the palms are, like I did here, because that's a good marker. Yeah, there's a little bit of a design mistakes there, right there in the hands. Definitely want to make sure that we don't make mistakes like that again, because one day we will be using the actual 3D model in the project, and I want it to look as good as possible. You don't want it to have, I don't want to have sloppy models. I'm only letting that this go because it's one, it's already baked. There's nothing more I could do. Two, it's not the final product, and three, it's old. I've already fixed this problem in my future sculpt. Okay, my next sculpt after this, so I'll just leave it here. The only problem is I can't. It's kind of hard to see because it's so shiny. How do I? Can I just? I'm pretty sure you can change. Oops, stop that. I'm pretty sure you can change the material on the fly. It's up here somewhere, or at the very least, like not show the. It was something. Let me see. Let me see if I can remember here. No, no, I don't think. Oh, let's see. Was this? No, that wasn't it. Just wanted to see. Okay, we can just look at it in this view so we can see what we're doing at least. I've gotten so accustomed to shading in the other thing that I forgot about this viewport mode here. This way we know exactly where we're at, and then we can just see the results after. Yeah, that fingertip, I don't know what happened there. I think we're just going to have to just definitely pay more attention to the a lot of attention to the retopology. That's very important if we want to make our 3D models look better. And for the most part, I think I did that, but definitely, even more so going forward to make sure I can see exactly now the effect of my retopology. Well, at least I don't know. I want to test them under animation. So I mean, there's still some tests to be done, but whatever when I learn exactly what to do there, I will know exactly how to do the retopology. Then that was the whole point of doing an animation study, sculpt, make the sculpt as good as possible, and then try to animate it and see where the mistakes could happen at as far as deforming and things like that. Now, the other hand should be good, right? Right. All right, cool. Yeah, I want to keep the color zone subtle. Okay, you can kind of see a little bit. This is the only exception if they have hair because, a shaved head, if he's not bone bald, then you'll be able to see the stubble at least. The stubble. Uh, that is very noticeable on a person, so you can keep that dark. If you're making a character or a likeness of someone who is real, who has a lot of stubble that is easily seen, then you can probably get away with using a darker color. For something clean shaven, you don't need to do that. You could just use this yellow and red tone color zones. All right, let's see. Okay, we did that. That might be a little strong, but I think it'll be fine. Let me see. Let's see how well we ain't gonna be able to see the feet. We got something with the hands. Oh, I'm blind. With orange, sun kissed with Fago, not Fago, Fanta. Sorry. Yeah, see, that's fine. I mean, it's not much. It doesn't seem to be much lighter than the other side, though. I think that's because of the material. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. There was a way. I think there was a way you could change the material, like on the fly, without having to. Like you go up here and you just put like, oh, this material is this. Now I don't know. I don't remember how to do that because I haven't done it. I haven't needed to do it. I usually just use the same exact material regardless, and then just change the. I think it's the roughness and call it a day, but it could be the subsurface scattering that I tried to add. Let's see, that's at 500, right? Yeah, that's definitely changing something. Okay, it definitely was the roughness. See, now he's all slick and oily. What the heck? What the heck is this? And yeah, you just definitely look at the roughness first. Now he looks kind of waxy. I had a setting for this. I don't know if I wrote it down though. Like this was definitely the subsurface scattering I was trying to add. Let's see, it was at 500. So I could have just typed it, but I'm not going to. Yeah. Okay. Did I write it down? Hang on. Let me go back to the subsurface scattering. And then later down the line, I'm going to add a roughness map, like an entire roughness map. So I'm just going to leave that alone for now because I know I actually remember that is a thing that will be addressed, as well as the seams showing through the texture. That's all going to go away. We're not done yet, even though we're working on the texture, but it's kind of getting in the way. So I definitely I want to revise my notes and put the fix for that before getting to this point. So then I can see right away, the effect of my texturing. That's what I want to do. But that's just a thing for another time. I could always just skip ahead in the notes. I don't really have to. It's just just to make it more streamlined and easy to follow for myself. At least until I commit it to memory. I just want to get it like just try to streamline it in the most efficient way possible, and then commit that to memory. That's what I'm trying to do here, basically. But like I said, I always had even if there's something that is done out of order, I can always just go back to the notes and figure it out from there. All right, let me just get out of this now. It's really that's very it's very pale. I think I need to add some red in there. And as far as I'm concerned with that, I guess you could just go with um the way where the feet would touch the ground, which if you look at a footprint, it's always the crown and then this side and the heel. So we can add red in these areas, okay? And maybe in between the wrinkles if you have that much detail. It's there kind of, but um it's very subtle. But I did put it there. Like I said, on this particular model, I did not do a lot of detail on the feet. As you can see, they're very basic feet, and they kind of got deformed a little bit as a result of their basic form. But my sculpts from here on out will have better feet because I figured out a way to do it easy, and it's basically just doing it like the hand. That's just not how I was. That's not how I learned how to do this. If the character is not barefoot, then I just what I learned was if the character wasn't barefoot or if anything wasn't shown, that you put less details in that area and retopologize it, less in areas that won't be shown. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do exactly what I do for the face and hands, but for everywhere because it's much easier that way, even though it will take longer. And then if something changes, I won't have to worry about fixing things that suddenly will be shown now. It's good through and through. And I think it's just good practice to try to you know figure out how to retopologize every part of the mesh in a way that won't take away from the quality. I was just going for speed at first, but now I'm kind of like trying to even it out a little bit, just make it as best as I can, and then go fast with that knowledge. All right, so yeah, I can't really think of anything else that I would need to do. I did the entire body yesterday, I believe. It was just the palms that I didn't really. do that much. Oh, you know what? I didn't save the image. No wonder I can't see it. I'm like, it's so subtle. And then I'm like, wait, I gotta save the image first. I hope. I always forget that. Now let's see. Hope it doesn't look bad now. Okay. It's a little too pale. We're gonna have to work that back a little bit. No problem. I think I would do the same thing for the hand. I mean, I could just look at my hand. I can see where the red is on my hand, and it's basically this area. And I guess you could probably do the same thing with the foot. Just put red here, here, and here, and maybe in the fingertips and in the just basically in the meaty parts. Okay, I think that would work. But yeah, we got to kind of reduce that. It's too pale now. And I should have seen that coming because I saw how bright it was, but it was already too well. You know what? It might not be too late. We might be able to just Control Z back that and just use a different. Here I go. I say I'm gonna do it subtle, and then I do this. Okay, hold on. We got something. Keep going. How far back can we reduce it? Uh-oh. I think I tapped it more than 10 times. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of that. Okay. So I got an idea. Okay, so all right, we walked back the foot, but not the hand. It's okay. Because once we figure out how to make the hand look better, then we can just do the foot the same way. Now we don't want to use 145. I think I'll just go back to 22. But first we got to fix this. So I don't want to get rid of these colors, but the red I can just I'll keep the yellow. I want to keep the yellow, but I'll just refigure out the red. It's okay. Let's see here. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. I don't know why that was hidden. Maybe I hit it. I definitely hit it. I don't. Anyways, yeah, there we go. I don't know why I had trouble finding things that I clearly was using before. Anyway, there. See, it's real simple. And now we can redo that. We can walk it back a little bit. As a matter of fact, what did I say? I said, what was it, 149 or something like that? I think that's what I said. We'll go for 145 and we'll just color. Well, that's a little too much. Let's cut that in half. And we don't have to completely cover it either. I just want to reduce it. Let's cut that in half even. I have to go from 29 to 43 with one tick. No, no, that was not what I wanted. Now it's going from 72 to 0. Okay. 0 point there. And I went a little too far on the wrist too, so whoops. In a way, I think I would only have to cover the top part, and then I can just blend the whatever color I decide to go with up in there. He's got a little pizza texture going on. Let's see if we can fix this here. I'll just have to blend that in. I don't know why his hand looks so much more metallic than the rest of them. All right, let's do that. It looks bad in that form. Why in the world is it so dark? All right, I'm gonna try to match the rest of the body and then just start over. The only problem is I don't remember the number, so I think it was 1, 2 something. I actually have it written down. I don't know why I'm guessing it. It is 127. And I probably didn't even get the perfect number because I can never get the perfect number. Okay. Because I don't type it in. I don't know why. I just don't. Okay. Just don't at me. Anyways. But why is that still super strong? That's supposed to be the right color, but it's not. It's clearly not. I don't want to make his hand darker. It should be lighter. I just want to darken the yellow. All right, let me see. Let me go down here. It's still mad dark, no matter what. It seems like it doesn't affect anything. Okay, now it's giving me something different. That's interesting. Pretty sure I clicked that spot. You know what? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Like I said, I just want to dull the yellow just a little bit. I don't think that will help. It's starting to turn green now. At least it looks green. It's probably not green. All right, it's just going off of the that shade of that at that moment. Yeah, that's all it's doing. Okay, so in that case, how about here? It's still darker than the hand. I mean, than the rest of the arm, but we'll figure it out. I'm just gonna go over it anyway with more yellow. That's paint hard with the cloud texture. Right, right. Good. I guess. The only problem is the yellow underneath of it is not painted that way, so I can still see the hard line. I messed that up because I forgot to add the cloud paintbrush settings, which is what I would normally use. Yesterday, I was just painting with the hard brush and then blending it for a long time. And then like once I was done, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot the cloud thing. Whoops. See, yeah, that's definitely retopology. I think that's retopology. I'm almost certain it is. I think it's that color because of the yellow underneath, to be honest. But that's okay because we're gonna replace it. We're gonna replace it. Now the other side should be good. I'm not even gonna look at it. I'm going to trust Blender on this one. Besides with color, I'm not really too concerned about making a mistake with color because you can just blend your way toward what you're trying to go for. Okay, it's not really a big deal to me. But I do want to do it right the first time, in the future. And then we're just gonna blend the line now. Now that we're here, now that we're at this moment. And that, that kind of my wrist is light. I don't know. I'm only gonna use my wrist as an example. I don't really have references for well, actually I do. I can probably look at a hand reference and see a wrist and see how. But basically the palm area kind of like slowly blends into the arm on the wrist. So you could do that. I'm just gonna blend it upward this way. And then we'll just lighten it up. And it looks like he just dips his hand. He dipped his hand into something. I don't know, some paint, I guess. Maybe it could be soot. Maybe a vacuum bag exploded in his hand and he has dust all over his hand now. I don't know. Looks kind of weird. It's a very weird color. Let's see here if we can just try to blend that. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna save that now. I want to see how that looks. Okay, maybe not in this mode. Let's see how it looks rendered. Okay, yeah, his hand looks dirty now. We're gonna fix it. Okay, now back to the yellow. What is? Oh, right. I forgot. What is wrong with Blender? Why does it keep switching my colors up or my brush texture? But I was on blend or blur. It doesn't have that unless you add it. Okay, now we're gonna lighten this up to a more fleshy color. Actually, you know what? You know what I could do? Instead of doing it that way, we could just straight up make it flesh right now. Oh, that's way too bright. Let's desaturate it. Let's go back to desaturating it. And also, I kind of want to make it kind of more of a fleshy color. That's kind of like an in between the red and the yellow. Very salmon looking color. And I'll just add more red. What I no, actually, you know what? Let's keep this color right, but then desaturate it. Just try to get it more subtle. Coloring is fun. You know what? You don't want to go to get too carried away with the colors, though. Okay. See, look at that. It's starting to return to his original form, to his original color. That's what I wanted. See, Yan can cook. Okay. Now go. And don't stop until you get there. Okay, now from this point, we can basically just start again and then just add something really subtle. Really subtle. Come on. Now we're going to clean his hand off. Nice and clean. Get all the soot off his hand. Did I say hand or arm? I think I said we're gonna clean his hand off. I don't know what I said anymore. Maybe I'm still tired. I don't know. Anyways, Oh yeah, we got to get the other side of the thumb too. All right, that's as close as we can get with this. Let's see if we got any. Yeah, we got a little bit of jam on his thumb there, a little bit of smudge right there. Let's go ahead and just do that. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. There's a little bit more right there. Clean your whole hand off. All right, now we can start again. Again. If we keep going, it'll slowly become kind of well, actually no, we should keep going. I think we could hang on, let me save it. Save that and then save this. And we can return to this point if we mess this up and we can't fix it, okay? Let's go lighter. And I think no, you know what? I think the answer is more saturation. More saturation. Now I have it subtle. I have it very subtle because we don't want to go too far. Otherwise, we'll be back at square one. This 0.022 seems to be kind of the range between that and 0.014 is probably the range that I want to stay at for all of my characters unless they have, I don't know, a cold or something. I feel like that is the range that I kind of want to work in when I'm adding color zones on skin. And on top of that, we have the proper texture right here. Okay. How did this happen? How did we get all the way over there? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. All right, so we're gonna go back here. And then from there we can add pretty much just red at this point. I think just make it more red in certain spots. The subsurface scattering effect should take care of the rest once I make sure that they are working properly. I added some of it, but I think there's a roughness map. No, the roughness map was for sweat, I believe. Yeah, and yeah, it'll be adjusted. Okay, you'll probably end up seeing that at some point in the very near future, and then we'll be done with the skin once and for all. And I think that that and then things like that won't be added to the clothing. The clothing is going to be really simple. I'm just going to make it look like cloth, and then um, I mean, basically that's it. Probably accentuate some folds with lighter and darker tones. These are the first three characters are wearing Vietnam era uniforms, and the ones that I have them wearing are the olive drab ones. So just be lighter tones of that color, and that's it. Basically, just trying to use those tones to accentuate the wrinkles, and it won't be as involved as doing the skin. Okay, looks a little better. I got to make sure we get the other side of that thumb there because it's kind of not in that angle that we are looking in there. Of course, we can kind of just get it to go a little bit in the wrist, just a little bit. You know what? I'm going to blur some of the base back in there right now. Just kind of rub that in. It's rubbed in. Okay, I think this is a good progress so far. I'm just gonna save it again. Save it again. Let's take a look at it rendered. It actually looks way better. That looks like I think yeah, we could probably just add the red right now. Let me grab one of these lights. That one is exactly the one I wanted. I just want to put the light right next to his hand, okay? Let's see, so we can see what we're doing. Where we at? Okay. That's way too intense. I don't want to put it there either. Or do I? Yeah, it's way too intense. Let's try to move it back some. As long as I don't move the other light, I can just copy. I can put it back. It's what it's just count these grid squares here, but on the other side from the y-axis, that's pretty much where I had it at before. But what I want to do right now is kind of have it so that the light is hitting the hand. So just so I can see the color it's going to end up better. Yeah, I think that's, well, I mean, like I said, it's very intense. I mean, it's to the point where he doesn't even look dark skinned anymore. He's starting to look fair skinned. So let's just move the light back some. I could have reduced the light strength too, but no. All right, so yeah, I think that's a good color. I think that's good enough. I think we can probably stop it there. Yeah, it's good enough. All right. We don't have to go any further than that. So now let me just move the light back in case I need it for the skin. And we can immediately just do the feet with this particular color tone here. All right. So from the y-axis, let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I already have it near the corner there, so it'll be in the corner of the eighth square. 1, 2, 6. Okay. I lost my train. I lost my. One square too far. When I look over to the red arrow, I immediately lose my place. so, so I had to just do a guesstimation and then try to correct it from there. Okay, don't mind me. Okay, don't mind me. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. All right, let me save it here. All right, here we go. And the image, we haven't done anything to image, so okay, now the camera's acting up. It's not gonna let me get close for some reason. No idea why. Okay, that's a little too close now. A little too close. Well, now you were letting me go through the body. Now you're not letting me get close to the body. Suddenly the camera has collision. I don't know what causes that. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. I just want to go through. I just want to be able to see the hand so I can finish it. What I'm gonna do now is, okay, get your butt out of the way, please. Just need to get to that hand. I need to get to that hand right there so I can finish it. Oh, you know what it is? There. For some reason, that only happens. Like, no, that's happening here. Never. Right. I was gonna say that might just be an object mode thing, but we are currently in. Okay, we're in the orthographic view. Yes, go through. Go through. Okay, now we can get really close to him, but okay, there we go. Finally, we're back, and it also would help if we weren't rendering all the time. Down, 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 down. Thank you. Yeah, I'm satisfied with this color. This is very it's very fleshy. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Now back here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch this, and we're gonna take this back into the red. I'm gonna take this back into the red, and then I don't know why my computer does that. Like the fans, it like something connects, and then my fans turn on. I don't know why that happens. I'm gonna have to take a look at my streaming computer one of these days. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to find that pinkish tone that we had before and use it to add some blood to the hands, and then we can use these two colors and do the feet as well. Okay. Now let's go back because we weren't done yet. We're gonna have to add some saturation. Oh, it's getting a little too purple. I want to stay on this side. Yeah, about right. Somewhere in this area, right here in this zone, right there. We're gonna put this color on skin, so we don't want it to be too saturated. All right, so now we can sort. And you know what? Okay, I could barely see it, which is good, but I saw the change. I want to take this down to 14 because this will show. You don't make his hand too red, like he was, clapping his hands really hard. Okay, just red enough to where you can see that it's fleshy in certain areas. I don't really have a blueprint for this, so I'm going to just use my hand as an example and just try to put the red near the most fleshy parts of the hand, which would be this part and then this the meat of the palm there, and yeah, maybe a little bit more this way than that way. Just a little bit. We're just gonna make it just real subtle, okay? I don't want to make it so that it's visible because every time I do that and I switch over, it's too much. So I just want to do subtle. The effect will be much more desirable than just doing a flat color or a base color and just calling it a day. It'll be closer to realistic, and it'll make it look more fleshy too, which I guess would be more realistic. Yeah, we're gonna have to apologize the fingers a little bit better than that on the next time. All right. All right, I think we have our colors here. Let me save this image so we can see how it looks. Let's see. I'm just going to look at it like this. Don't really need the light for that because I can see enough. How about the other side? The other side seems to be more lit than this side. Oh my God, here we go again. All right, we're back in. Yeah. I don't know why the other side is more darker, but yeah, we can see like there's very subtle, fleshy tones. It seems like I can see the details more on this side than the other side. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Now we can do the feet just like that. We're not going to be able to see, the result because there's no light down here, and I'm not going to put any light down there. I'm going to trust the process that I've laid out for myself. All right. But I will color it in this mode here because some of the reflection allows us to see a little bit. All right, here we go. Yeah, these colors seem to be what we're going to go with. And I hope the blending of the corrective colors wasn't the reason why it looks the way that I wanted to look. I just hope I could just do it with the colors that we came up with right here. All right, so because that could be a possibility too. It might not. It's not going to look exactly the same because I think when we were trying to bring the color back to the flesh tone, it might not be like 100% like the feet. So 1 minute until ads. I apologize for the inconvenience. All right. Yeah, I think I had when I made my improved feet on my sculpt study, and you'll probably will see in the future. I might just switch to it one day because it still needs to be worked on, and this will be done. But if I want to switch to it and work on it, I can. I kind of want to go to my 2D projects and finish them because we're not. I don't want to be a strictly 3D art channel. I do all kinds of art, do digital art. I mean, that's the only like, and I do dabble in animation. We're trying to learn how to do animation in 2D. So there's that. But it's my point is it's not going to be all 3D. All right. So even though I want to kind of mix it up a bit, I do have other 3D projects that I kind of want to work on too. All right, let's see. I mean, okay, this is more subtle than the hand because I worked at it from 0.014 instead of 0.022. That's fine though. I wonder why this is such a hard line right there. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add the reddish color to the areas that are presumably in contact with the surface of the floor. Well, in this case, it'll be inside of his boot. But I'm just following that as a color zone. It's just something that always stuck out to me in my head. Seeing someone's footprint like on a wax floor or just anywhere where you could possibly leave a footprint, it's always just this part right here that's in contact with the floor. So I feel like this is the area that would be red, and I'm just gonna follow that. You're always adding things to your mental portfolio. I forget what they call it. Your visual, whatever the heck. When you're observing things in the world, some things just stick with you, and you're like, oh yeah, next time I draw that, I'm going to add what I just saw there to it. It's pretty much what's going on right here with the floor, or sorry, with the feet. And I kind of want to just add like a small streak in between these wrinkles here. I didn't really accentuate these when I was doing the micro details again because I had already done them beforehand in the high poly. But generally, these when you do the micro details and the secondary details and all that, that's when you start adding all this stuff. I didn't refine them, so I just left them like that. And you can kind of still see them, so that's just fine. I didn't want them to stand out too much. It's not like it's something that's going to be a focus. So I just put something there. I want to blend that because that's really bothering me now. This hard line. I'm not sure what's causing that. It could just be the seam showing through and it looks like a hard line, but okay, what do we got here? I think we went a little too high. Dang it. I don't know how looking at this it got up there. All right. That was just an honest mistake. That's okay though. Because that's not too far from life, okay? That line probably stays like right here. Or that could be the seam, because I can't even affect it. I think that is the seam. I'm going to ignore that. Where did I paint the color at? Right there? I guess. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Yeah, that's the seam. I think it's the seam anyway. I'm trying to blend it and it's not even budging. So I think that's just the seam. We're gonna have to definitely address that in the future. All right. So let's take a look. Yeah, we're not gonna see anything. I'm gonna just it's the same, it should be a similar color to the hand, so we'll just leave it like that, okay? And when I will fix this in a future stream. I can't fix it right now because I don't have my notes ready on that. I don't know what that is. That's a little concerning, but it'll be all right. All right, so for the most part, I think the textures are pretty much where they're going to be. We got the color zones in, we got the base colors, we got the skin tones. We try to make it as fleshy as possible. Um, that was my first time doing a dark skin character in 3D. I think it turned out pretty well for a first time. Pretty satisfied with it. The only problems that I can see with this are, of course, with the ret topology, and I've already addressed that in another sculpt. You can kind of see the polygons here. That won't be a thing. I have to fix the roughness, of course, which I can actually do that right now. But I want to make sure that this isn't specifically addressed later. Like I said, I don't have that written down. But if I turn it down, you can kind of see a little bit more. I'll leave it at 500 for now, but so I don't want to touch this right now. I know that's something that I can that I'm going to address later. I just don't remember the exact method. But we can at least reduce the polygons. But you can see that I didn't really put a lot in the chest right there. See, it's like very big. And that's mainly because this isn't going to be shown, but I think I should, when I do ret topology, I should follow every part of the form just to make sure that those details get through. It'll still come out the way I want, which is with less polygons, but with higher poly details. It should still come out the way I want. And I think at the most I'll probably add like 1,000 more, which isn't too bad. But if I ever get to doing a video game project, we want to keep that number as low as possible, so that way the game is optimized. I don't want to make an unoptimized mess. Okay, heating up, just turning computers into heaters and whatnot. But yeah, that's something that is way down the road. We're going to address that, and by then we should be able to see. Oh yeah, I can definitely retopologize this under this number. Okay, things like that, because we're already kind of in that space already. All right, so that texture is done in my eyes. I don't know. We got all right. So we got to do the eyes, which that's something that we're not going to get to today. So I'm gonna finish playing catch up. I wanted to do this off stream, but it's very time consuming and I can't always get to it. So what time we got? I want to work on something and I'm just gonna call it. It's gonna be a short stream today. Um There's a little preview of how it's gonna look. He has a shirt on. His shirt is a little baggy. Where's the no, that's not it. Where's the other shirt? Shirt LP. There we go. We didn't get to this yet. I don't even know why it's red. Oh wait, yeah, I do. I gotta flip the I think I have to flip the normals on the shirt, right? Yeah. Why is it upside? Why is it inside out? Oh my goodness. All right, no problem. Can do that right now. I know I remember doing this the first time, but since we had to since I had to revert to an older a copy of my save and fix the mistakes that I did previously, I got to do this again. So let's see. Edit. I'm just gonna do it now because this I'll probably work on the shirt next. I'm gonna select everything. Hit select, not select. Hit mesh, normals, and flip. And there. Now the texture's on the correct side. But my point was the LBE is touching the shirt, and the shirt is kind of just around the character, but you can't really tell. That's how it's supposed to look. All right. We'll get to the shirt next. The shirt and the pants are going to be really easy. Now I don't have to do the boots, even though the boots are kind of like outdated as far as quality. My next character is also going to be wearing boots, but it's going to be a different kind of boot. So I'm going to have to do that one from scratch, and it'll be way better than now. I'm not going to retroactively add those new boots to these guys. I'm just going to work around my previous skill level, and you know, we'll just accept the fact that we'll have to fix whatever is wrong with the boots when I'm drawing the pages. Okay, enough about that. I'm gonna erase that. Oops, this is edit mode, right? Object, select that. We want to make sure that we're on the right thing. And the best way to do that will be to just go to object mode and select the mesh and then go on to whatever you're doing. I don't want to see this anymore because we're not on that. We're on the normal map. The once this gets baked, it'll appear over here where it was arranged in the UV portion of the workflow. And let me get rid of the underwear. We don't need to see those. Those underwear are just for Twitch. They're not going to exist. Although my study sculpt is fully anatomical, and so the underwear is a part of that of that particular mesh. Okay, but they're also way more detailed. So you know they're wearing plain clothes. So I mean, underwear is a part of that. All right. Yeah, that's kind of like the level that I want to work at. Just actually put underclothes on and then clothes over that. Oh. All right. And I think this version of the touch up is actually better than the one that I messed up on that I actually previously streamed. You can see there's a lot less artifacts. It's still a little gooey and doughy. That, like I said, details like this are better off being done separately. I'm learning that now, and the next time I do something like this, these will be sculpted separately and then just attached later, so that way we don't have to. Because I don't know, I just don't have the skill level to make this look not doughy. Okay, I just don't have it, and I've already done I've already done the like jewelry on my animation sculpt. Okay, and figured out how to do that, and that was all done with separate meshes that I just added to the thing. It's not 100% perfect, but it looks accessories look way better than this. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that method for buckles and straps and things like that. The bag is fine though, I guess. I mean, all things considered. I think I can smooth this out, but I've spent so much time on this already trying to fix it because of all the artifacts that was added to it from garment tool. You can see some of it there. Some of it I just cannot fix. Um, these things will be created separately though, and that's hooks and things like that. It's just better off making them their own mesh instead of just trying to sculpt it from a very thin copy of a different mesh. I think that's where the problems are, and the retopology, of course. I think it's a little bit of a combination. The only way I'm gonna know is if I can just get to that sculpt and keep going for sure. But I have to fix this one, otherwise I would be working on that off stream. For some reason, I cannot find the grab tool. What? Where is it? Where's the grab tool? That's elastic grab. I want the other grab that I'm used to using. Oh, it's right there. When did it move? It used to be on this side. Now it's on that side. You know, it doesn't matter. I found it. Okay. We need a little bit more than that. Okay. Let's try to. Okay. 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 Yeah, like I was saying, I think I can smooth this out. I was still working on this side. This side is different than see. That's another thing too. If I were to have this buckle as its own mesh, I could just duplicate it and just put it on that side, and it'll look exactly the same. Instead of one kind of looking off and the other one not. This side is better than the other side. But I think I can smooth that down. Let me see. We find smooth. Yes, we can. But live and learn. We'll get there. Eventually we'll have pretty decent meshes, and it's just refining what we already know from there on out. I don't think it'll ever get this will ever get boring because there's always something to learn. Just art in general. I think there's always things you can experiment with and see if there's a way. If you're that type of person, I know there's a lot of artists out there who that um probably are okay with drawing the same exact way that they've drawn for many years. But I like experimenting with things, so um man, 'cause you never know. Try to thicken this. It's like a wedge. I need to get rid of this corner that should not be there. I had to put that there to try to fix all of the weirdness that happened. And I'm gonna give you an example of that weirdness. Not there. Over here. This thing here. I have a lot of this going on. Just trying to get rid of it so it doesn't show in the final thing. It's just like I said, it's just the way that I've done it, the old way that I've done it, and I'm just trying to fix it here. But we're not going to do it like this anymore because you can see the amount of effort it takes to try to put the detail back on and make sure it's good. When you when you do bake the high poly onto the low poly, you should just be refining what's already there and not trying to fix something that suddenly appeared. Okay, that's not how it's supposed to work. It's only like when I did if I were to do this again, retopologize it, and then bake this high poly mesh onto the thing that I just retopologized, then all I should really be doing is just adding and not fixing. Okay, it was like that for the body, except for maybe in between the hands because if you remesh something and it's too close, they kind of join. That can happen no matter what. It's just you just have to be mindful of the spacing of your fingers. Um, I could easily make that mistake again, but we know how to fix that. At least for the most part, we can fix it. I don't want to flatten it too much. See, look, why is it not just flattening the top? It's flattening the sides and leaving the corner. And I'm trying to get rid of. What is this? Smooth? Okay. Okay. See, that's the thing. I wanted to flatten it, not smooth it. Sometimes that's not the answer. Sometimes you just got to flatten or scrape instead of smooth, and that gets you the desired effect of smoothing that smooth should do, but it's not doing it. I don't know why. We want to get this kind of smooth because it's supposed to be metallic. It's a metallic object and it's round. So I'm just trying to get that effect. Even though there's just some of the mistakes that happen when transferring the high poly onto the low poly, it's just I can't fix all of them. But I'm still trying to learn how to, at least try to at least get the point across. I'm still going to try to do it, even though I can't fix everything. Just put that there. Okay, kind of just move this down just a little bit. It should be dented up here. But remember, if you saw the previous stream of me doing this on the older mesh, before it got destroyed, all those artifacts on the buckle that I couldn't get rid of, I actually managed to get rid of them this time. So I don't know if the mistakes are consistent because all I did was just check the here, I'm show you. When I baked it, all I did was just check bake for multi-res, and that affected the mesh. It's actually seems to be less mistakes. It shouldn't be any mistakes, but that's the reason why it's different now. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of that I did differently. I just couldn't manipulate all the just buff out all of the little mistakes that happened. I don't know why, but now this time I can. So either these things are inconsistent, or baking from multi-res kind of remedies that a little bit. But I'm gonna make sure that the red topology is definitely better for the smaller parts of the mesh. Yeah, things like this right here. I just noticed this, like these little scars and these little nooks, crannies. They shouldn't be there. But it's it takes a while to get them out, but you can get them out. I just I just didn't want to spend all that time on it. But in doing so, I know how to fix it. I can fix it pretty quickly if Blender lets me do it. See, real simple. I mean, of course, the inside is still showing on the outside, but see if we can do something about that. Yep, there you go. That doesn't always work though. So, and as I say that, I fix all the problems. It doesn't always work. I promise. If it's too thin, it just won't work. See, like this. I'm thinking about this, just taking a cube, stretching it into a strap, okay, and then that's the strap, okay, instead of just trying to mold it from a shirt. Because when you do it that way, you get things like this. We'll get there. Now I kind of want to inflate it because it's kind of flat on this at this perspective. Smooth it out some more. So apparently that scar seemed like it came back. I don't know, or maybe it never went away. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to get rid of that. Just trying to make it more round. I don't know why it keeps trying to get angular. I don't know. It's hard to tell when I'm sometimes when like am I being a perfectionist, or is this really too like are we at the point where it's a sunken cost fallacy trying to fix this thing? I don't know. I feel like it's just right there. It's like on the verge of being fixed, and then hours later, I'm like, okay, enough is enough. That's what it feels like sometimes. Smooth this. Get rid of that orange there. The artifacts are still there in some way. I'm just trying to make it not visible. I don't know why they won't completely go away, but it always seems like everything that was there that I fixed is it's still there, and somehow it's just there. It's just hidden now. It's almost like there were layers over on top of layers. Honestly, I'm tired of working on this bag now. I think I should just cut my losses and just accept the fact that we're going to have to just fix that in post, meaning on the panel when I'm drawing it. If it's even on in the panel at all, I actually don't even know if I have a shot of this bag at all, like in center on the center of the screen. with this particular character, the scenes that I have planned, he's not even wearing this, which is funny. I'm spending so much time with it. I guess some of it is learning too. I don't know. I feel like I've explained this, but I feel like yeah, a lot of this is just like we're just trying to figure out how to do this better as an artist at this point. It's not really about necessity. It's not about whether or not I'll actually draw it, but just ability to do it in the first place, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if this is if that bag will be that wrinkled. So I'm just gonna smooth it out a little bit. I think the bag is good. Besides the buckle being not perfect, but the bag is good. Kind of want to bring the strap past the buckle in that spot right there at this time, and then yeah, they're a little misshapen. They're not completely smooth like I want it, but I mean, I can. The point is across. There are buckles there. That's all that counts, right? All right. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do these things separately and then just attach them. And then when I retopologize them, they'll all be one thing, but they'll be attached in the retopology. Okay. And I think I can do the retopology better, when those smaller details are their own thing. I'll just make sure that they're touching the bag or the strap or wherever, whatever the thing is, before I retopologize them. It's just, that just didn't occur to me before until, I see what the effect is of doing it this way can be. Now, I see there's a little sunken area here from when I was trying to. I don't remember what I was trying to do. I think I was trying to either I grabbed it or I was trying to smooth it or flatten it, and I kind of did too much there. Excuse me. I need to burp into the mic if you heard that. It just slipped out. Anyways, I think if I can kind of just get rid of that dip, even though it's a bag. I mean, I didn't, and I'm pretty sure I've said this before. I didn't plan out what was exactly in this bag. I just, this really doesn't matter. Okay, I imagine it's some kind of field medic pack, even though this person is not a field medic. But maybe maybe since it's such a skeleton crew type unit that's going on here in this scene, that everybody has the same kit so they can all perform the same thing. If somebody goes down, if this guy got injured, somebody else would have the same exact field medic kit, and they could be the guy who administers the first aid. None of this really matters for the story, so I didn't really put a lot of thought into it. But I know that's something that could happen in a situation like this, so we're gonna go with that. Let me smooth out. Okay, I'm gonna go around to the front, and I think I've already did the straps as much as I could, so I'm not gonna worry about that now. Yeah, I want to smooth that out though. Still don't understand why it looks like that. Smooth brush can definitely fix it though. See that we can preserve the corners too. Probably don't even have to do anything to the corner. That's dipped a little bit too low though. So what I'm gonna do is take the grab tool, kind of just move it up a little bit. Is that orange? Oh, how am I able to see that from that side? That's so weird. Kind of just pull it up just a little bit. It would be very interesting though to learn how to make a video game. I'm definitely going to attempt to learn how to do that. I think I'll be all right. It's kind of weird when when you're thinking about doing something that you don't really have a grasp on at all. It's like I don't even know where to begin, but I'm sure that once I learn how to start, that everything will just fall into place eventually. Kind of like this. When I started, I just had a sphere in ZBrush, and I did a very terrible face, and I was like, "What? How am I going to get to where I want to be when just being able to sculpt my characters in 3D?" And then no later than 2 weeks from that moment, I had a body with a face on it. It wasn't attached. It was like it was like lines, where the head and the neck meet, and the shoulders and arms. But I was starting to envision, like, okay, I think I understand now how to do this. And I'm hoping that it will be the same thing when making a video game. It could be that it's not that hard. I don't know. Actually, don't know. We'll find out. And you know what I'll probably do when I start getting really like into doing it, I think I'm going to stream the conceptual stages of it too. So I'll probably design the character in like 2D, whatever the character may be, and I'm just gonna just start with working at a legitimate shot at a video game. Okay, so we'll have a story and characters and concept art and the setting and all that stuff. It won't just be for practice because um, even though they shouldn't, I think a lot of people say start small, and I think I can do something small with that. Um, I'd rather just jump right into what I want, getting from the learning portion, like while I'm learning, just jump in, just try to learn how to do the exact thing that I want to learn how to do instead of like a practice project. Because basically what I did for 3D sculpting. It's like, no, yeah, I don't know. I just want to do a human. I want to learn how to do a human. So I just started trying to do a human. And after a couple of tries, I started seeing humans. And after a while, it was a humans with clothes. And, after that, it was like a humans with better clothes. I think that's where we're at right now. Oh my goodness. This is what I'm talking. This is how it looks. This is how it was looking. It's not supposed to look like that though. This is how this portion looked, and now I have to restore it. Basically, just picture a strap or the strap looping through a rounded buckle, and the buckle goes over the strap. That's how it's supposed to be. I don't know why it did like that. Like I said, I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe the retopology just does not match the detail. Let's see. Let's see what we got right there. Because we can see easily. Yeah, see? That could be very well be the issue here. The retopology doesn't perfectly follow what I did. I think that's what's going on here. So we got to do better next time. And I've already solved it. I've already solved it. I suspected that wasn't it. That would cause a problem. So I'm like, okay, next time we're gonna make sure that everything is fleshed out in the retopology, so that way, because I think there were some instances besides this in my previous two sculpts where that was starting to become apparent, and I kind of had a little bit of the foresight to see, okay, all right, when I do the study sculpt, I'm gonna make sure that everything is done right, so that way I can accurately judge what could go wrong with the animation if there's anything that goes wrong, if there's any clipping, any unnecessary deforming of any kind of form, whatever the case, we know exactly what causes what, so we can apply that to the future sculpts. Okay, that's my whole thing. I'm just trying to learn exactly what I need to do to make sure that there's no problem, so that way I can just refine what I know from that point forward instead of fixing the mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen, and I have a pretty good idea of how to fix the ones that I'm making already. Um, but if I can just get to the point where we're like, okay, yeah, I made that. Now it's just okay. I can just make it better next time, some way, refine it a little bit more. There's no problem with the foundation, and retopology is basically the foundation. Uh, 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 uh. So I want to make sure that this flap or the top that opens up is even with the other side. That needs to be smoothed out. I don't know why it's like that. I mean, I do know why. We just talked about it. It's most likely the retopology. But yeah. I didn't really have to, actually, you know what? I'm not even going to finish that sentence. Okay. The last the last sculpts before this point did not have this much detail on the clothing. That is why I didn't run into this problem before. But now that my clothes are getting better, well, at least they're getting more detailed. Now things are starting to appear where we gotta address it. Shouldn't have to do it anymore after this. I think I pretty much got the gist of what has gone wrong and what I can do better. I think for the most part, I can see the mistakes that I'm making. It's nice when there are when you can get, you know, critique from someone who sees things differently from you. Um, but I'm pretty good at self. I think I'm pretty good at self critiquing. So when I first dabbled in posting my art on the net, there was a lot of that. It was a lot of okay. Now that I know that people can see it, I start to scrutinize it a little bit more, and I kind of developed it from that. But I was getting critique on the internet, just not from certain sites. It was only just like very specific sites where the ones where all the critique would come from. I almost never got critique from DeviantArt. DeviantArt was like, "Hey, yeah, good job," something like that. I'm like, "Oh, all right, thanks. I guess I don't know." And then, or I would ask for, I'm like, "Hey, yeah, feedback's welcome," and that's not wouldn't get feedback. I'm like, "Oh, all right." So then I would have to like kind of like, okay, where can I go from here? And then I would look at things, and then things would show up later, with a fresh set of eyes. Some time would pass after learning a little bit more over time, and then you look at it, something you did that was old. And I was like, oh yeah, that. Yeah, I can probably do that better. I can see where I made a mistake with the perspective, and even way back then, I was like, this kind of ties like the doing references in 3D kind of ties into those thoughts back then because I always felt like I had some issue with perspective. But as long as we can get the form right here, that will never be an issue again. Because I mean, I think just drawing what you see could be the easiest thing that I possibly can do as far as art is concerned. It's very easy to do that for me. I'm talking about myself here. I'm not talking about anybody else, but I've done studies like art studies. So I mean, it's very easy to draw exactly what you see. In my case, so I don't think that would be a problem here if I just have the right kind of reference. And back then, I think I was using, when I needed a reference because I didn't really draw references a lot back then. But when I did need a reference, it was something very specific from Google that it took me hours to find. So I was like, oh yes, this is what I'm looking for. This kind of lighting right here. And then I'm like, oh, hours have passed. I haven't drawn anything yet. I'm trying to avoid doing that in the future. When I do need references, I have them. I built like I over the years and years of reference gathering, just so I would not have to go through that. But every now and then, there's something that might pop up, like I'm not really sure how to draw that, and so I would just try to find a reference for it. But yeah, that's been severely reduced since those days. I don't really have a problem with references now, and even more so with this because now I can just create a reference, the exact reference that I want to create. Let's see here. So this is kind of a little bit, it's a little bit lopsided. Well, what I'm going to do is I want to just try to, because these pouches, these specific pouches have like rods in them to keep them a box shape. They actually look like this. So I know that this actual pouch can be, when it's filled, and these particular ones is where the ammo is being kept. These are almost a perfect box shape. So this is pretty true to life, but it's a little lopsided. So I want to try to flatten it on all sides so it's more like a square. Now, in hindsight, I could have just made another cube and then shrunk it a little bit and then just attached it later, or took a cylinder and made a belt. I think, going forward, I would make it like that, now. But this was extruded from the shirt that you saw earlier. So it's a little weird trying to get a complex shape out of that when it's already bent and formed and, deformed and all that. But that's how I would do it now, and would look a lot better, when the shapes are a little bit more defined. And probably faster too. Once you have the basic shape down, it doesn't take much to try to, just add things onto it. All right, let me. You can have some dents in this type of pouch. I don't know. I guess I'm just being a perfectionist at this point. Because I think this is a decent shape. This is real enough. This is accurate enough. You know, the only thing that I really need to fix is this, and probably just general, just redefine the corners a little bit. And make sure that it's it's something that we can, and it's kind of sloped downward this way. I think what I could do is increase the radiance once again, get the cursor underneath like that, and then just kind of just push it, pull it down. That's usually how I try to even out things like that. Just push it like that. That's what I like doing. Most of the time that works out. A couple tries of that should get it to a point where it's even on all the sides. You just have to make sure that you're looking at it from every dimension. Yeah, it's a little better. Okay. It's still a pouch at the end of the day. It doesn't have to be a perfect square. Oh, look at that. Yep. We didn't consider that angle, did we? Just gonna try to get the box out, and then pulling it, I kind of created those dips there. You won't see that at all. I'm not even sure how it connects in the back. Actually, I do know. You see these holes? You can just slip, and there's like little bands. You can behind this is like two little clips. You can just slip them in. I've seen them before, so I don't have a reference, so I'm not gonna worry about it. You're not gonna see it. Like I said, the only way I would consider doing like that is, say, if you ever played Resident Evil, how you can examine items and like get a good look at them and move them around. That would be the only reason why I would pay attention to the back of this. If I had something like that in a video game where you could just look at items and move them around, it's kind of important to the gameplay to do that, because some items you have to examine and move and look and open them up to find other items in them or other clues. That's a staple of a Resident Evil game mechanic. It's something that is Resident Evil. I don't think there's any other game that does that I can think of at the top off the top of my head, but I know Resident Evil does. So they have very very detailed models in all of their games that allow you to do that. Whether it's just to open a book or turn something around so you can see something on the back that you're supposed to find, or things like that. But for the purpose of this project, I'm not going to worry about what's in there, because I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly what it looks like. If I knew, I might be tempted to try to add it in just to learn how to do it, but um like I said, it's not really important for this project, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Same thing with the smoothness. Could probably just leave it like that, to be honest. I don't think it would matter, but it's good practice if if you want to work on the things that no one would ever see. At least you know how to sculpt it. Let's see exactly what's going to be shown here. Yeah, that's where the perspective is going to end, and it's kind of clipped into the shirt anyway. Can't even see behind there, but you get the gist of what's going on here. Okay, we're still a little lopsided here. This corner needs to be pulled out a little bit. I don't know what happened there. Is that something that I missed, or something that happened with the shrink wrap mod? I'm not sure. But like I said, it's very close to what it's supposed to be in real life. So I think maybe we can just basically just call it a day right there as far as the shape is concerned. It's a little dipped in right there though. Just being a, just trying to get it as good as I can. That's the only thing that I can do at this point. I mean, I think as far as the details are concerned, yeah, they're not perfect. I'm just trying to compensate for that, for the smaller details that I messed up, mainly here. This hook that's not even a hook, I just kind of barely shaped it as a hook, but you're supposed to be able to see through it. Like it's an actual hook that hooks through a hole. And then these buckles here, these ones are pretty much exactly how they're supposed to look. The front ones are good, and that's good that those ones in the front are like that because it's in the front. But I can clearly see what they're supposed to be and accurately drawn. This one, kind of, kind of. These ones are more like these ones back here, but they're smaller. All right, I'm gonna leave that pouch shape alone now. All right, so my next step is to work on this buckle again. I'm gonna try to take care of that later. I'm gonna call it right here, okay? Thank you for hanging out in the stream, checking out the stream for today. Thank you so much if you're watching the VOD. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you as well. Hopefully, I'll have these clothes done by next Monday so we can go on to the next steps. We're at the end. We're very close to being done. It's just that I made some mistakes and I had to redo some things. They couldn't be I couldn't leave it alone because they weren't baked properly, and so we had to do a couple of steps again. But it's much better this time. Okay, the next stream, hopefully, if I'm free, will be on Friday. We're gonna be continuing the playthrough of Shadow Hearts. Okay, so I'll see you then, and I'll probably continue into Saturday as well. If not, then I'll